Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you're here with me on the Mountain View Cottage today. And if you are here for the second episode of my series, Get Your Life Together Boot Camp, which is for moms who are just trying to better manage their homes and their families and bring peace and joy into their homes by doing these things maybe a little more efficiently. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm super excited to dive into episode number 2. Now, I had different plans originally for episode number 2. I was going to talk about goal setting. And then I realized all week as I was kind of pondering this, that goal setting is not where I want to start, because I feel like sometimes you're not even in the mindset where you're ready to goal set. And so I started thinking, well, what kind of things help me be ready to make goals and go after those goals instead of feeling like I'm stuck and I can't move forward, and setting a goal seems like way too much effort or work or mental capacity than what I have right now. And so today we're going to talk about taking care of yourself. But this is not going to be the self-care that maybe the world preaches. This is going to be the self-care of a productive mom. And it may look a little different or similar to things you've heard before. So I just kind of want to dive in today to how taking care of yourself should be a priority as you are trying to better manage your home and your family. First of all, if you are not healthy and you are not happy, it is really hard to be a good mom and be a good wife and show up for your kids. It just is, and your family. It's just really hard. And I have struggled with this throughout my life and motherhood seasons, where I was not taking proper care of myself, and it made everything that much harder. And so I just want to share. I'm also not like the most healthy eating or a fitness guru kind of person either. I'm just a regular mom. So this is coming from like a regular mom who's not on some crazy diet. I don't believe in diets. I don't go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm lucky if I get there maybe 1 day a week. But I just kind of want to share with you how this can look and how this is important in getting your home, your mindset, and your family in order. So first of all, I think it's important to build in healthy habits into your day. And these are things that you have control of. And that's what this particular episode is about, is controlling the things that you are in control of. Because so much of motherhood you are not in control of. And so I want to talk about some simple things that you are in control of. And that is first how you start your day. I will tell you I am not a morning person. And so while we are a homeschooling family, I typically wake up around 8 o'clock. I have tried to be that 5 a.m. mom who wakes up and goes to the gym and gets a full workout in and gets dressed and ready before my kids are even awake. And for a very short time am I able to keep up with that. But after a while, it just doesn't work for my family and my lifestyle, especially with my husband's weird work schedule. He works late. He doesn't get home until late in the evening, well after my kids are in bed, but before I'm asleep. And so in order for me to get time with him one-on-one daily, I stay up to get that one-on-one time with him. And so it doesn't work for me to wake up super early. So I want you to look at your life. I want you to look at your family dynamics and the schedules of you and your spouse or your partner and your kids, and determine what is a realistic time that you can get up and be awake maybe a little before your kids or before the day is busy and starting, so that you have a little time for yourself. So despite the fact that I am not waking up at 5, I do still try to wake up before my kids. My kids sleep in. I have a couple early birds that wake up early, but my baby sleeps until about 9 every morning. And so I have about an hour of time in the morning. So I wake up and I get dressed and I get ready. I get dressed and put makeup on pretty much every single day of the week, and it's not for vanity reasons. I truly just feel better when I get dressed. I also feel like I have my uniform on to conquer the day. Some days I wear more casual clothes, but a lot of the time I wear cute stuff that makes me feel good and happy. It's not to please anybody else. Most people don't even see what I'm wearing 90% of the time because I'm just home. And I don't usually, I Instagram stories a ton, but I don't usually share my body or myself on my Insta story. So no one's seeing it but me and my kids and my husband. And I just do it for me because it brings me some joy. And so I have started curating a wardrobe that is fun and bright and happy and brings me joy. I also love neutrals. Clearly I'm wearing neutrals today. But I'm trying to wake up and get dressed in something that makes me feel good, regardless of what that looks like. And it doesn't have to be expensive. And then I also do put on makeup. And I tell everybody, because I've had other women comment like, how do you have time for makeup every day? And the real truth is I probably could eliminate my makeup routine. It's not as important to me to have makeup on every day. But it's what I do while I'm putting my makeup on that I cannot eliminate because it just starts my day off so much better. And when I am doing my makeup in the morning, this is kind of where I feed my spiritual needs and my cognitive needs and some of my social needs too. So my morning routine looks like sitting down at my vanity in my bathroom, just over here, and putting my makeup on. But I have this whole ritual. I start off by listening. I don't have time in this season to sit down with the scriptures and do a personal scripture study, but my faith is really important to me. So I listen to a chapter of scripture every day on my iPhone as I'm getting ready and doing my makeup. And then I also listen to a conference talk from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints by one of the authorities in our church. These are just like motivating spiritual talks about family and faith and personal growth and development and Christ. They're Christ-centered. And these are always really good and kind of often will happen at a time or a season where I'm struggling with something, and I'll listen to a talk and it'll have the answer, or the scriptures will have an answer for me. And so these two things really help with my faith and my spirituality and help me feed that, but have the time to do it. So it's automated. Someone is reading it or speaking it as I'm doing something else productive, such as getting ready. And I have been doing this routine probably for 8 years now. It's been a really long time that I started reading my scriptures by listening to them. I used to have this guilt that if I was listening to my scriptures, I wasn't really doing a scripture study. But I've let go of that guilt, and I've realized that this is what works for me. I'm actually an audio learner, so I really actually learn better through audio versus sitting and reading something. If there's an audio component, it works better for me. And so I make time to listen to my scriptures while I'm getting ready. The next thing that I do is I Marco Polo. And I am kind of in this weird generation where we Marco Polo. And it's just the easiest way for me to keep in contact with my family and my friends. I have struggled to maintain relationships with friends over the years just because life gets so busy, and if someone is not in close proximity to me and I'm not brushing shoulders with them because of kids' activities or church or something, then those relationships kind of fall to the wayside. My mom also lives in a different state. She lives 2,000 miles away from me, and it is the best way for us to stay in contact. So I will listen to whatever Marco Polos I have to catch up on, and depending on whether I have time or not, I will respond. And I try to just make it quick. But I love Marco Polo specifically because I don't have to stop and have a phone call conversation with somebody when I don't really have time and I don't know how long that phone call is going to run, and I have a hard time hanging up once I get on the phone with people that I love. But it helps me feed that relationship connection with people outside of my family living in my home. It's really important, I think, to maintain relationships with friends. And sometimes you are in a season that's so busy that you don't have time to get together face to face. And so Marco Polo or FaceTime or something like that can be really beneficial. I also find that when I am keeping up with my friends, then we're more likely to make those appointments to go out and get dinner together, or to go to a movie together, or get our kids together. When we're checking in with each other regularly, it's just easier to get together and see somebody also in person. So I fill my spiritual needs with my scriptures and a conference talk, and then I feed my relationship, friendship needs by Marco Polo. And then I also, so I do my makeup and my hair. This usually takes me about an hour. And I listen to Marco Polo. I have subscribed to the paid version so that I can listen to at 2 times speed. And I also listen to my scriptures at 1.5. And a conference talk at 1.5. So I get through this pretty quickly. It takes just a couple minutes for these things. And then depending on how many Marco Polos I'm catching up on. But if I have some additional time, then I listen to something educational. And this can be a variety of things. In certain seasons, as I am a homeschool mom, it is a homeschool podcast. I have a handful of homeschool podcasts that I just love and that are really uplifting, fulfilling for me as a homeschool mom, and help remind me why I'm doing this, and just kind of like cements in why homeschooling is important to me. Because sometimes when I'm in a difficult season of homeschooling, I can think like, why am I doing this? Or I'm not a good enough teacher. Or I'm not equipped for this. And so when I listen to positive, encouraging homeschooling podcasts or books, I listen to homeschool books on Audible as well. It just reminds me of like, yes, I'm on this course for this reason. These are the reasons why I'm doing this. And it just kind of reiterates and like helps me feel like, yes, I'm in the right thing. I'm doing the right thing. And it just gives me that boost that I need. And so podcasts are a big thing for me. I'm also a business owner, so I own several Etsy shops. So I have a couple Etsy specific podcasts that I listen to that can sometimes help me generate new ideas for my Etsy shop. I've been doing Etsy for a long time, many years now, but there's still new things that come out and I can try, and that just kind of helps me stay up with what's going on in the business world and owning a small business. And then I also will listen to other like self-development books. I am a foster mom, and currently, we are dealing with some more difficult things in this season of foster care. And so I have been listening to trauma books, and that seems kind of boring, but in this season, I feel so desperate to have more answers and more understanding about what's happening with some of the kiddos in our home. And books on trauma that give me the background and the understanding, the foundation of what is happening in these little minds who have been through trauma has been so helpful. And so it might be a self-help for me or a self-help parenting kind of book for one of my children. And it just kind of depends on what season I'm in and what I'm feeling at the time. So those have been really, that is one of my favorite parts of my getting ready routine, is listening to that kind of stuff. And sometimes I'll forego Marco Polo to listen to something if I'm really feeling like I need to be fed and I need to understand something, like one of the kids in my home. And so I've read some really awesome trauma books lately. But I feel like I have learned so many things over the years by implementing this time for education. The next thing I do is once I'm all dressed and ready, I don't leave my room until I make my bed. I share this often on my Insta stories. You'll see me making my bed a lot in the mornings. I'll share a sped up version of this. And the reason why is I truly, truly need my room to be a space of peace. And as a homeschooling mom, my kids are not leaving. They're staying home 99% of the time, all day with me. And it's so important to be able to even just shut a door and come in a different space where I can get a little break. I have shared, I think before on one of my homeschooling YouTube videos, that I take mom breaks. So I take a mom lunch. I make myself a good lunch, something healthy and fulfilling and something that I really enjoy, that's delicious every day. This is also part of my habits daily that I do to just help boost myself and make sure that I can be the best that I need to be. And so when my bed is made for that moment later in the day, I can just walk right in here and I can just forget the cares of everything else happening in my home, and I can just come in my room and be peaceful and serene and just take a minute. So I make my bed, I tidy up my room, I'll vacuum it. We have pets, and so I like to keep dust and dander at a minimum. So I will vacuum my room really quick. It literally takes 2 minutes, I've timed it, to vacuum my bedroom. It's not super big. And I will also take a quick disinfectant wipe and wipe off the counters in my bathroom. And then my bathroom and my room just stays pretty clean. And then once a week, I'll just touch other things up in my bathroom, like the toilet and the shower, and the floors will get mopped when I mop floors in other places in the house. But making my room a sanctuary is a habit that I have formed and have kept for years that always serves me well. It also is helpful for my husband when he's getting home. I've shared before, he's in law enforcement. Sometimes he's coming home from really hard stuff at work. And for him to have that escape and that peace also is really important for our relationship. He doesn't expect it. He is not that kind of guy. But I know he appreciates it because he has told me that he does. And it just becomes our special space later in the day when it's not just me who's home. So that's another habit that I have. And then taking a lunch break and eating a healthy lunch. And so when I am grocery planning and meal planning, which I'll talk about in other episodes, and I've already talked about here on my channel, I try to remember myself and what kind of lunches I'm in the mood for and things that I want, so that I know that I have things on hand, and then I don't end up just eating something random that's not a real snack or real food. It's more of a snack, or I'm eating leftovers my kids didn't finish and not truly nourishing my body, because I do better when I've eaten well. And so those are things that I do to kind of just make my day flow better. At the end of the day, I reset my kitchen. Currently, I am not doing it. We have 7 kids, and so we have a rotation. So someone is cleaning the dishes every night and cleaning the kitchen. And so I'm waking up to a clean kitchen every day, and I'm not even having to clean it. So before, it was me who was cleaning it, and I was very diligent in doing that, because waking up to a clean kitchen and a tidy living space just helps us start our day with less chaos. When there's already so many kids in our home, having less chaos is so important. And so having things tidy and just cleaned up, not perfect, but just cleaned up, and the dishes, ran in the dishwasher every night, and an empty sink to start the day just really makes a difference. The other thing I want to talk about is controlling the spaces and the things that you have control of. In a busy home with lots of kids, there are certain spaces and things that you do not have control of, such as your children's bedroom drawers, under your children's beds, your children's closets, the main living areas of your house, the kitchen. While you can clean them up throughout the day, you can organize them and try and keep on top of these types of areas, it is almost impossible. I'm just going to tell you, it's almost impossible to keep them clean or all clean at any given moment, and it's really hard. And so I learned from Lisa Woodruff on the Organized 365 podcast, which I absolutely love, how I have my own personal spaces that I can organize. And I loved this concept from her. It was such a light bulb moment for me of having my room clean and organized, having my own personal bathroom clean and organized, having my own closet clean and organized, and having my purse organized, and then, if I can, the certain areas of my van clean and organized. While I don't have control of everything at any given time during the day, because my kids are using them and living in them and making messes and learning and loving and doing all these wonderful things, there are spaces that I do have control of. And so if you are feeling like you're completely overwhelmed, I would encourage you, I will link her podcast. There's many episodes about this, but I'll link some really good ones in the show notes, because I feel like she says it better than I ever could. But just think about organizing your purse. Think about organizing your bedroom and your bathroom and your closet, because those truly are spaces that you get to be in control of. My kids don't really come in my closet or my bathroom or my bedroom. And when they do, they're not playing in here. They're coming in to talk to me or ask me a question. And so I can keep these spaces clean and organized. And when my personal spaces are clean and organized, I feel so much more on top of everything else in my home. So I wanted to really start this series by talking about these habits of self-care. While they sound like work and organization and cleaning and stuff, they really aren't. Once you are on top of your bedroom, it's easy to maintain. Once you are on top of your daily routine, and it's just a habit that you listen to a book or you listen to a podcast or something in the morning, or your scriptures, it's just, you don't even think about it. And that's truly, to me, what defines a habit. A habit is something that you don't even think about. It's just what you wake up and you do every day because it's become part of your routine. And so I want you today, your homework is to sit down and with a notebook and just write down what your ideal morning routine would look like. And then I want you to, underneath that, write down what your minimum is. So I have an ideal morning routine of what I would like to happen every morning. And then I have a minimum of what has to happen that's necessary without the fluff. So if I can't listen to a Marco Polo's and a book and all the things, and I need to hurry and get ready, then I will literally listen to 2 minutes of scriptures and nothing else. And I will put my hair in a hat and throw on some clothes, because some days are just like that. And so I want you to have your perfect morning routine and then your bare minimum morning routine, and then be okay with both, depending on the day that you're having. So I want you to think about those daily routines and habits and those personal spaces that you have, and how you can make them better and bring more peace and calm to yourself, so that as you go out to the rest of your home and the rest of your family, you are better equipped and prepared to be a wonderful mom and a spouse and a wife and a friend and a sister, and all of those wonderful titles that you hold. I hope that you found this helpful and it gave you some ideas of the actions that you could do today to bring more peace to your home, because that is my whole purpose in doing this series, is helping bring more peace to your home. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back next Thursday with episode 3, and we will talk more about routines and goal planning and just the things that help you maintain your home and your family and your lifestyle in a way that brings more peace and joy. Thank you so much for watching this. I will see you next week.